Chosen ones. Whose idea was this to keep sending demons to a top-level demon slayer? Somebody really looked at you and thought it was smart to launch spiritual attacks against a warrior built specifically to dismantle darkness. The sheer stupidity is almost impressive. Right now, while you've been feeling that pressure, that weight, that strange spiritual tension around you, there's been chaos breaking loose in the enemy's camp. Demons are backfiring, curses are reversing. Dark practitioners are refusing to work against you anymore because they recognize what you are. Here's what's really happening. They sent evil your way expecting you to crumble, but you're engineered at a soul level to devour that darkness and spit it back out transformed. Every entity they conjured is now tormenting them instead. Every spell they cast is destroying their own lives. Every dollar they spent trying to break you just funded your next level upgrade. This isn't safe for them anymore. It never was. They picked the wrong one. You're about to understand exactly why messing with a chosen one who operates as a spiritual assassin always ends the same way, with them in pieces and you elevated. It's like sending a house cat to fight a lion and expecting the cat to win. Delusional doesn't even cover it. Let's start with what's really happening behind the scenes. Someone looked at your life and decided you had something they wanted, your peace, your destiny, your divine assignment. They saw you glowing, saw you rising, saw you stepping into alignment with your higher purpose. That triggered something primal in them, envy so deep it turned into obsession. They couldn't just let you be great, they had to try to take you down, so they went looking for help. Not regular help either. They went to practitioners, spiritual workers who deal in darkness, people who conjure things that should stay buried. They paid money, serious money. They pooled resources together like they were investing in some twisted business venture. Multiple people, family members even, all throwing cash into the pot to fund your destruction. Think about that for a second. People sat around a table discussing how to ruin you spiritually. They researched, they planned, they talked about you like you were some kind of project. Some even traveled, got on planes, flew overseas to find practitioners who specialized in this particular brand of evil. They were that dedicated to seeing you fall apart, and you felt it too, didn't you? Those moments when something just felt off, when your mind raced for no reason, when fear tried to creep in out of nowhere, when you felt like you were being watched or targeted by forces you couldn't name. You weren't paranoid, you were picking up on reality. There really was a coordinated effort to attach something dark to your energy field, to trap you in mental prisons, to drive you toward despair or worse. But here's where their plan started falling apart. They didn't do their homework on you, not really. They saw your surface. They didn't see your lineage. They didn't know about the spiritual DNA running through your bloodstream, the ancestors standing guard around you, the direct connection you have to source that makes you untouchable when you're in alignment. They thought they were attacking a regular person. They were actually coming after someone who was born specifically to slay the kind of darkness they were playing with. You're not new to this battlefield. Your soul has been doing this work across lifetimes. You're a spiritual warrior, whether you fully realized it yet or not, and warriors don't just survive attacks, they turn them into victories. Boss, let's talk about what they were really after. This wasn't just about making you suffer for entertainment. They wanted your destiny. They looked at what was coming for you, and they wanted to swap places with you. They saw the doors about to open in your life. They saw the favor about to flood your path. They saw the recognition about to come your way. They saw the abundance about to manifest in your reality, and they wanted it, all of it. So they figured if they could spiritually incapacitate you, they could somehow step into what was meant for you. That's how destiny swapping works in dark spiritual circles. You weaken someone enough, confuse them enough, trap them enough, and you try to hijack their timeline. You try to steal their divine assignment and claim it as your own. But destiny doesn't work like that. You can't steal what source assigned to someone else. It's coded to their frequency. It's locked to their spiritual fingerprint. No amount of witchcraft can override divine selection. So what happened instead? They tried to force their way into your lane and got rejected, hard. The universe said no with emphasis. Every door they thought they'd walk through slammed in their faces. Every opportunity they thought they'd claim evaporated. Every blessing they thought they'd steal multiplied in your life instead. Because when you try to take what belongs to a chosen one, you don't just fail, you lose what you already had. That's the principle they didn't understand. You can't rob someone under divine protection without robbing yourself in the process. Now they're watching you from a distance, some of them obsessively. They check on you through social media. They ask mutual connections about you. They drive past places they know you might be. They're monitoring your progress like they're studying for a test. And every time they look, you're doing better. Every time they check, you've leveled up again. Every time they peek into your life, there's new evidence of blessing, new evidence of breakthrough, new evidence of divine favor. It's driving them insane, because they invested everything into your downfall and you're out here looking like you're being positioned for a major promotion. That wasn't supposed to happen according to their plan. You were supposed to be broken by now, confused, struggling, barely holding on. Instead, you're thriving, glowing, moving with purpose and power. So when they sent that first wave of negativity your way, something unexpected happened. You deflected it, not because you were trying, not because you knew exactly what was happening, but because your energy field is naturally fortified. Your light is too bright for certain shadows to penetrate. The entity they paid thousands to attach to you, it couldn't stick. It circled around you, hit your spiritual armor, and bounced right back to the source, back to them. Now they're the ones dealing with the consequences. The same darkness they wanted you to experience, they're living it. The mental torment they hoped would drive you mad. It found a home in their psyche instead. The chaos they wanted to see destroy your life, it's ripping through theirs like a hurricane. If this message hits your spirit, hype this video so more chosen ones like you can find it. And this is where it gets almost comical if it wasn't so dark. They didn't stop. After the first attempt failed, after they should have recognized you're protected, they went back. They found another practitioner, spent more money, tried again. Different approach, same intention. They wanted you bound, they wanted you struggling, they wanted to see you confused and defeated and questioning everything. What they got instead was a masterclass in spiritual warfare, because the second attempt failed even harder than the first. By now your frequency had already shifted. You'd already leveled up from surviving the first attack. You came out stronger, more connected, more aware. Your intuition sharpened, your spiritual gifts activated on deeper levels. You started seeing through illusions faster, reading energy more accurately, moving with more wisdom and less fear. So the second wave of attacks hit an even more fortified version of you, and this time the rebound was more intense. The people who funded this second attempt, they're experiencing what can only be described as a complete unraveling. Finances drying up, relationships imploding, mental clarity gone. They're seeing things, hearing things. Their minds are being tormented by the very forces they thought they could control. Some are dealing with what looks like full-blown paranoia. Others can't sleep without nightmares. A few are so disturbed by what's happening to them that they're seeking help, running to different spiritual workers, trying to figure out how to remove what's attached to them now. The irony is beautiful in the most karmic way. They created their own horror story trying to write yours. Now let's talk about why this matters to you specifically. You're not hearing this just to feel vindicated, though that's a valid feeling. You're hearing this because you need to understand the level you're operating on. You need to recognize that you're not moving through life as a victim. You're moving as someone who has divine backing so strong that attacks reverse automatically. Your enemies are literally doing your elevation work for you. Every time they try to curse you, they're actually blessing you. Every ritual they pay for ends up transferring power to you instead of from you. It's like they're making deposits into your spiritual bank account while thinking they're stealing from you. The wealth they wanted to drain, coming to you. The mental clarity they wanted to destroy, sharpening within you. The destiny they wanted to hijack, unfolding faster because their interference actually accelerated your timeline. This is what happens when you're a chosen one operating in your purpose. The universe doesn't just protect you, it weaponizes attempts against you and turns them into fuel for your ascension. You're not just surviving spiritual warfare, you're being refined by it. Every attack that fails makes you more aware of who you are. Every enemy that falls away reveals who was never meant to walk beside you. Every dark night you pushed through built strength in you that can't be measured in normal terms. You're becoming someone who moves with unshakable faith because you've seen evidence of divine intervention with your own eyes. You know you're covered, you know you're guided, you know that even when you couldn't see the way forward, something was orchestrating protection around you. But let's address what you've been feeling, the weight, the exhaustion, the moments of doubt. Just because you're winning doesn't mean the battle hasn't been real. You're allowed to acknowledge that this has been hard, that there were nights you questioned everything. That fear tried to convince you that you were losing your mind. That anxiety showed up uninvited and made you wonder if something was actually wrong with you. You felt the attacks even though they couldn't ultimately harm you. Your body registered the spiritual pressure. Your mind tried to process what was happening in the unseen realm. There were probably moments you felt isolated, like nobody would understand what you were experiencing. Times you wanted to speak up, but worried people would think you were being dramatic or paranoid. Here's what you need to know. Everything you felt was valid. The war was real. The targeting was intentional. Your sensitivity to it doesn't make you weak. It makes you aware. It means your spiritual senses are working exactly as they should. You picked up on danger before it could fully manifest. Your intuition warned you. Your body gave you signals. Your dreams probably showed you things. You knew something was off even when you couldn't articulate it. That wasn't anxiety. That was wisdom. That was your higher self keeping you alert and protected. And the fact that you're still standing, still sane, still moving forward, that's not luck. That's proof of who you are and what you carry. Now imagine what your enemies are experiencing right now. They invested everything into your downfall, and they're watching you thrive. They paid for your destruction, and you're more blessed than before. They tried to trap you in darkness, and your light got brighter. They wanted you sick, and you're healing. They wanted you poor, and abundance is flowing to you. They wanted you isolated, and your real tribe is forming around you. They wanted you silenced, and your voice is becoming more powerful. Every single thing they attempted has produced the opposite result, and they're spiraling because they can't understand it. They can't comprehend how someone they targeted so viciously is not just surviving but ascending. It breaks their mind. It disrupts their entire worldview because they don't understand the level of spiritual authority you carry. There's something else you need to understand about what's happening to them right now. That group of people who came together to fund your destruction, they're falling apart, turning on each other. The unity they had when they were plotting against you has completely dissolved. Now they're blaming each other for why it didn't work. Arguments are breaking out, accusations flying. Some are angry they wasted their money. Others are terrified of the consequences they're facing. A few are trying to distance themselves from the whole thing, pretending they were never involved. But you can't participate in spiritual warfare and then claim innocence when it backfires. They're all connected to what was done. They're all experiencing the fallout in different ways. And the practitioner, the one they paid to do this dark work, that person is dealing with their own crisis right now. When you work in darkness professionally, you know the risks. You know that sometimes the energy you send out comes back. But this was different. This wasn't just a failed spell. This was a complete reversal that shook that practitioner's confidence, made them question their power, made them realize they encountered something they couldn't penetrate. Some practitioners will refuse to work against certain people once they recognize the level of protection. It's not worth what happens when you go up against someone covered by forces beyond your pay grade. So they backed out, told your enemies they couldn't help anymore, basically admitted defeat without saying those exact words, but your enemies weren't ready to accept that answer. Remember, they went back, found someone else, spent more money, tried a different approach. They were determined, obsessed even. That level of fixation is dangerous because it blinds you to warning signs. It makes you ignore red flags. It pushes you to keep going when you should stop. So they doubled down, went harder, tried to intensify the attack, and that's when things got really bad for them. Because the second attempt didn't just fail, it sealed their fate. It locked in consequences they can't escape now. There's a spiritual principle here. When you're warned and you ignore the warning, when you see evidence that you're fighting a losing battle and you continue anyway, you move from making a mistake to making a choice, and choices carry different weight than mistakes. Some of them are angry now. Rage is building because their plans keep failing. They might even be plotting to take physical action because the spiritual attacks aren't working. But here's what they don't realize. That same protection covering you in the spiritual realm extends to the physical. Weapons formed against you will not prosper, not because of some abstract concept, but because there are literal forces assigned to your preservation. Angels you can't see, ancestors watching your back, divine intelligence rerouting danger before it reaches you. You're not walking alone even when it feels like you are. Every step you take is guided. Every path you avoid that could have led to harm was redirected by something beyond your conscious awareness. You're being kept because you have work to do that can't be interrupted by people operating in jealousy and darkness. And for those involved in trying to harm you, they're learning lessons they'll never forget. Some are dealing with what feels like possession. The entities they paid to send your way couldn't attach to you, so those entities needed somewhere to go. Guess where they landed? Right back home. Now the people who summoned darkness are hosting it. They're experiencing intrusive thoughts, violent impulses, depression that came out of nowhere. Anxiety so intense it feels like they're dying. Some can't control their actions. Others are making decisions that destroy their own lives. Relationships ending, jobs being lost, health declining, legal troubles appearing, financial ruin setting in. It's systematic destruction happening to them while you're over here being systematically elevated. The practitioners they hired, some have stopped working with them, refused to do any more work because they recognized they were up against something they couldn't penetrate. A few probably warned them, told them to leave you alone, explained that you're protected by powers they don't want to challenge, but pride wouldn't let them listen. Obsession wouldn't let them stop, so they kept pushing, kept spending, kept trying, and now they're bound to the consequences of their choices, bound to the karma they generated, bound to the darkness they invited into their own lives. There's a price for playing with forces you don't understand. They're paying it now. Every morning, they wake up dealing with the fallout of their own evil intentions. Here's what that looks like practically. Some of them are experiencing financial collapse. Money that was steady is now unstable, investments failing, unexpected expenses draining accounts, jobs being lost for reasons that don't make logical sense. It's like a curse on their resources. And maybe it is. Maybe when you spend money trying to curse someone who's blessed, that money becomes cursed in your hands. Whatever the mechanism, they're struggling financially in ways they weren't before. That wealth they thought they'd gain by removing you from your path, it's gone, evaporated, and they can't figure out how to stop the bleeding. Others are dealing with relationship destruction, marriages falling apart, friendships ending, family members cutting them off. It's like everyone can sense something is wrong with them, something dark, something off. People are instinctively distancing themselves without always knowing why. And the ones who stay, those relationships are toxic now, filled with conflict and suspicion and resentment, because darkness doesn't just affect the person carrying it, it affects everyone in proximity. So their whole social structure is crumbling. The isolation they wanted for you, they're living it. Then there's the mental and emotional torment. This is perhaps the worst part of what they're experiencing. Intrusive thoughts that won't stop, nightmares every time they close their eyes, paranoia that makes them jump at shadows. Some are hearing voices, seeing figures that aren't there, feeling presences in their homes. They can't shake the sensation of being watched, being followed, being hunted by something they can't see but can definitely feel. A few are so disturbed they've sought help, gone to doctors, been prescribed medication, but pills can't fix spiritual problems, so they're still suffering, still tormented, still desperate for relief that won't come through conventional means. And the physical symptoms, those are manifesting too. Unexplained illnesses, chronic pain, exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. Their bodies are breaking down under the weight of what they're carrying spiritually. Some have aged noticeably, look years older than they did before this started. The stress is eating them alive from the inside out. They're deteriorating in real time while you're over here getting healthier, stronger, more vibrant. The contrast couldn't be more obvious to anyone paying attention. Meanwhile, you're waking up with clarity, with purpose, with renewed energy, with doors opening that were closed before, with opportunities appearing that make perfect sense for your destiny, with people being removed who were never meant to stay, with healing happening in areas you thought would hurt forever, with confidence building in ways that surprise even you, with gifts activating that you didn't know you had, with wisdom dropping into your spirit that sounds like it came from ancient sources. You're being upgraded in real time. Every attempt against you triggered another level of your evolution. Your enemies accidentally became your spiritual trainers. They pushed you into dimensions of yourself you might not have accessed without the pressure they applied. This is the reality of being chosen. Attacks are inevitable because your existence threatens systems of darkness. Your light disrupts comfortable shadows. Your authenticity challenges facades. Your freedom intimidates people in bondage. Your peace disturbs chaos, addicts. Your growth reminds others of their stagnation. You don't even have to do anything specific to trigger them. Just being yourself in your power is enough. Just walking in alignment with your purpose is offensive to people who abandon theirs. Just shining your light naturally exposes things people wanted to keep hidden. So they react, they plot, they scheme, they try to dim what they can't match. And every time they try, they lose more of themselves. Let this sink in deeply. You didn't just survive their attacks, you transformed because of them. You're not the same person you were when this spiritual warfare started. You've matured, strengthened, awakened. You understand spiritual dynamics now that you only theorized about before. You know your power now in ways you only hoped for before. You trust your intuition now at levels you only aspired to before. You walk in authority now that you were just stepping into before. Their hatred became your refining fire. Their curses became your catalyst. Their weapons became your workout equipment. You built spiritual muscle dealing with what they sent your way, and now you're walking in a dimension of strength they can't even perceive. So what happens next? They're stuck in consequences while you keep ascending. They're dealing with entities they can't control while your angels are celebrating your victories. They're scrambling for solutions to problems they created while you're receiving downloads for your next level. They're living in regret and fear while you're living in faith and expectation. The contrast couldn't be more stark, and it's all because they chose to come against someone who was never meant to be defeated by darkness. Someone whose DNA contains light codes that automatically repel lower frequencies. Someone whose assignment is too important to be derailed by jealous people playing with forces they don't understand. But here's your responsibility in all of this. Don't get distracted by their downfall. Don't sit around watching them suffer. That's not your focus. Your focus is forward. Your focus is on becoming everything you're meant to be. The war is won. The battles are over. What they tried died before it reached you. Now you move. Now you create. Now you build. Now you step into the fullness of who you've always been, underneath the attacks and the noise and the distractions. You take all this energy, all this momentum, all this power that got activated through warfare, and you direct it toward your purpose. You write that book, you start that business, you launch that ministry, you create that art, you love that person, you heal that wound, you forgive that hurt, you release that weight, you step into that calling, because at the end of the day, you're not defined by who tried to destroy you. You're defined by what you created after surviving their attempts. You're not marked by the warfare, you're marked by the victory. Your story isn't about what they did, your story is about what you became, despite what they did. And generations after you are going to benefit from the strength you built during this season. The wisdom you gained fighting invisible enemies, the faith you developed when everything looked impossible, the resilience you forged when you wanted to quit but something wouldn't let you. All of that becomes generational wealth, spiritual inheritance for people who will walk easier paths because you walked this hard one first. So let them deal with what they created. Let karma do its work. Let divine justice handle what you were never meant to handle. Your hands are clean. Your heart is pure. Your intentions were always good. You didn't ask for this fight. They brought it to you, and they lost. Simple as that. Now you take that W, and you move forward like the chosen one you are. Protected, guided, elevated, unstoppable. They'll tell stories about this season, about how someone tried to take you out and ended up taking themselves out, about how darkness couldn't touch light no matter how hard it tried, about how you walked through fire and came out refined instead of burned, about how what was meant to kill you made you stronger instead. That's your testimony. Own it, share it, let it encourage others who are in their own battles right now. Hey, this is Mike and Ari cutting into your regularly scheduled Chosen One programming for just a moment. We are the founders of the Obsidian Inner Order and the Astral Atom Network, and we're done playing nice. We're in a spiritual war. You know it, we know it, we know it, and we're out here bleeding for this mission, full time. I'm hungry for fourth-dimensional Archon blood, but we need the ammunition. So listen, when you join the Inner Order, you're not just supporting us, you're getting access to exclusive tools they never wanted you to have. Psychic self-defense training, targeted individual intel, spiritual warfare tactics they scrub from the internet, and every week we meet in secret, chosen ones only, on Zoom. No filters, no fluff, just real genosis, real family, real power. It's a 360-degree win. You get what you need. We get to keep fighting. So don't just watch. Drop a like. Share this video to everyone you know now, and join the Obsidian Inner Order. Let's finish what we started. Link in the description. Let's freaking go. But let's be clear about something else. Some of these people might try to come back around. When they're desperate enough, when the torment gets unbearable, they might reach out. They might try to apologize. They might act like they want to make amends. Be very careful here. This isn't about holding grudges. This is about wisdom. People who went to the lengths they went to don't just change overnight. They might be sorry they're suffering, but that doesn't mean they're sorry for what they did to you. They might want relief from consequences, but that doesn't mean they've had a genuine heart change. Some of them are only reaching out because they think you have the key to stopping what's happening to them. They think maybe if they get back in your good graces, the attacks will stop. That's manipulation, not repentance. You don't owe them access. You don't owe them your energy. You don't owe them closure or forgiveness on their timeline. Protect your peace fiercely. Some bridges are meant to stay burned. Some people are meant to stay in your past. Your kindness is not weakness, but it also shouldn't be a doormat. You can wish them well from a distance while keeping them far away from your space. That's not being cold, that's being smart. That's honoring what you survived and refusing to give them another chance to try again. You're still here for a reason, standing tall for a reason, moving forward for a reason. That reason is bigger than you. It's connected to purpose that impacts more than just your individual life. People need what you carry. The world needs who you're becoming. Your voice is necessary. Your presence is required. Your gifts are essential. That's why the attacks were so intense. That's why they tried so hard, because on some level they recognized what you represent. Threat to their darkness, challenge to their lies, exposure of their schemes. They knew if you fully stepped into your power, their whole operation would be disrupted. So they tried to stop you before you got there. Too late. You're already there. You arrived while they were still plotting. You leveled up while they were still scheming. You became who you needed to be while they were still trying to figure out how to break who you used to be. And now you understand something crucial. You're not just a survivor, you're a weapon of light in human form. You're not just overcoming, you're obliterating obstacles by your very existence. You're not just winning battles, you're ending wars just by showing up in your truth. That's the level you operate on, that's the frequency you emit, that's the power you carry. It's not arrogance to recognize it, it's wisdom. It's necessary for you to know who you are, so you stop playing small, so you stop doubting, so you stop questioning if you're really that important. Yes, you are. The attacks prove it, the protection proves it, the victory proves it. Everything about your story proves that you matter in ways you're still discovering. So where do you go from here? Forward with confidence, forward with clarity. Forward with the understanding that you're covered by something greater than any attack. You move knowing that your enemies are scattered, your path is clear, your destiny is secure. Nothing they tried worked. Nothing they try in the future will work either. You're insulated by grace, surrounded by favor, marked by divine selection. That's not religious talk, that's spiritual fact. The evidence is in your life. Look at what you survived. Look at who you became. Look at where you're headed. It all points to purpose. It all confirms calling. It all validates that you're exactly who you've been feeling like you are. This is your moment, not to fear, not to hide, not to play small anymore. This is your moment to step into everything you've been prepared for, to walk in the authority that's been building in you, to speak with the voice that's been finding its power, to create with the gifts that have been waiting to be unleashed, to love with the heart that's been healed and expanded, to lead with the wisdom that's been downloaded into your spirit. You're ready. You've been ready. The warfare was your final preparation, your graduation, your initiation into the next level, and you passed with flying colors. Now you get to enjoy the benefits of being on the other side of what tried to take you out. Remember this always. You're not here by accident. You're here by divine appointment. Every attack you survived was proof. Every victory you claimed was confirmation. Every level you reached was validation. You're chosen for real, not chosen to suffer endlessly. Chosen to overcome and then show others how. Chosen to shine and make darkness uncomfortable. Chosen to rise and pull others up with you. That's your assignment. That's your legacy. That's your story, and nobody can take it from you because nobody gave it to you. Source placed it in you before you were born, activated it during your darkest seasons, and now you get to walk in it fully without apology or hesitation. They thought they could stop you. They learned they only helped you. They thought they could break you. They discovered they only built you. They thought they could end your story. They realized they only started your next chapter. And that chapter is glorious, it's powerful, it's exactly what you've been waiting for. So close the door on what tried to destroy you, lock it, walk away from it. Your future is calling, and it sounds nothing like your past. It sounds like freedom, like victory, like purpose fulfilled, like destiny manifested, like dreams realized. That's what's ahead, that's what's waiting, that's what you fought for. Now go claim it, go live it. Go be it, because you're chosen, you're protected, you're elevated, and nothing will ever change